beautiful peoples. This is Kim with Abundant Life Tarot, and I'm super excited. This is our first ever virtual workshop, and the topic of discussion is vision boards. We are going to be creating vision boards, finishing up work in progress vision boards that maybe many of us have started but have not completed. And I am super excited about this, because this was born, this idea of doing a virtual vision board workshop was born out of one of our lives that we do once a month, or a few of us get together on Facebook Live, and we, in our group, Abundant Life Tarot, and we were saying, wow, wouldn't it be cool to do a vision board workshop together? And so I've been studying up on the mechanics of doing something like that on Facebook Live, and I think I am able to do it. So I'm excited about that. I've been working on a slideshow presentation to show some different examples of vision board ideas. I've also just want to talk a little bit about intention, and this is a very deliberate and intentional process that we're doing in the manifestational front. So this is, to me, leading edge activities in manifesting the life of our dreams. And so that kind of leads me into me and my story with vision boards. So I have been exposed to vision boards my whole life. I've had one at various times throughout my life, ever since I was young. And it wasn't until I had a very pivotal moment in my career in 2008. That was also coinciding with the economic recession or downturn that we had. And I felt so stuck in my life. I felt so unhappy, and I wasn't sure how to fix that unhappiness. I knew the unhappiness was stemming in large part to the job I was doing. I had a very high stressful insurance claims adjusting job. I mean, it was my career. It was something that I, spent my whole first part of my life doing and building. So it was definitely not just heart-wrenching to be in a place where I didn't feel on top of my game and I felt stressed out. And so it was starting to color the other areas of my life. And it was to the point where I was like crying every day to work. It was that bad. So I knew that something needed to change. And what changed was I started getting into visualizations, started doing guided meditations, started writing out affirmations, my own affirmations for my life, and really studying them every day. And then I started exploring vision boards again. And this time it was super intentional of what I created. And I'm going to show you, as a part of this introduction video to our workshop, I'm going to show you some of my vision boards that are personal to me, but I'm sharing them with you because I think we all can learn from sharing our personal stuff sometimes. So, yeah, let's get right to it. So let me show you the vision board that I created back in 2008. And it's interesting because most things on here have manifested, okay, which is exciting. But there are so few things that have not. And so I still look at this vision board even today, even though it's old and ratted and tattered, and I have another vision board since. This is one I still consult. You can see how well loved and torn it is, okay, like very well torn. So, and loved. So it had grown, right? It started off with one board. Look at that. It started with one board, and then I ended up taping them and making it like this cool fold option that you could do yourself. So it can ever expand if you needed your vision board to do that. But I realize now that perhaps this wasn't going to work necessarily for me, and I probably needed to highlight, like laminate it, each one, and then maybe adhere it another way because it's ripping. But this is old. This is my vision board that I started back in 2008. And I'm going to see if I can start to show you different things here. So over here is my love corner. And so I had reconnected with a guy that I really cared and loved as a friend in high school and junior high. And we reconnected in 2006. So this vision board was started in 2008. This was at our 2008 high school reunion. And I started working on this board probably that January, I think, of that year. It was at the beginning of the year. I remember that. So I got that. I got a heart here. I got money flowing in, abundance, culture. I have something that says culture. I have music, jazz. I love going to see live music, whether it's blues, jazz, R&B, world music, like, you know, just different eclectic tastes that I have in music. So that's something I'm passionate about. I had the word magic. Had no idea that what magic was going to mean in my life and how it manifested in my life later on. But I put that on here back in the day. Got a lady singing here, love in words. This red barn reminds me of a barn that we drive past when we go up the coast to one of our favorite spots as a family in Northern California, and it's very rustic and beautiful, and that reminded me of that, so I put that there. I put this house there because one day I knew I wanted a house. I was staying in a townhome that at that time when I created this board, I was, not at that point, but I was the value was steadily declining to the point where I was severely upside down in a home loan on a condo that was too small for my ever-growing and expanding family. So yeah, so I put a picture of a house with a tree, and ironically today, my house doesn't look quite like that, but it's probably the same, probably like square footage of this house pictured here. I just realized that, and it does have a very large tree that I'm super excited, guys. I just manifested an awesome arborist who is someone who works on my neighbor's house, and I don't know why I didn't think to contact him before, but it's working out beautifully. To trim back this tree because it's growing. I made the mistake of thinking I should have watered it because of the drought in California. I was still on that whole behavior of making sure the trees got water because of drought concerns and fire concerns. Well, it turns out I was feeding it too much, and now it like exploded, and it's huge, and the tree is over my roof line, it's over my neighbors, it's just massive. So I got to cut it back. Here's me back in the day with my boys when they were little. It's around that time as well. You can even see I had straight hair, have an engagement ring. It's like I was plotting and planning. I have a cool refrigerator and clean, because that was important to me with boys, and making sure it was well stocked but clean, and it was always like full of food that needed to be thrown out, and blah, blah, blah. So I hope to manifest that. A door of opportunity here. So you can see over here, I had these two vehicles, and I did not manifest necessarily a Land Rover, but I did manifest a vehicle that kind of is shaped similar like this, a family vehicle. And then we do have a sedan that looks shaped like this, but not quite a Lexus, and that's okay. That's all right. Our cars are very modest. One of them is paid off. I'll take that any day, and one day I'm sure I will be blessed with a luxurious vehicle. But for now, I'll take the little luxury that I got. This says Brazil. One of these days I want to make it to Brazil. I feel like it's one of my spiritual soul places. I've been in love with the country ever since I was a little girl. I've been fascinated with it and studying on it all the time. Like, I've got several books upstairs on my shelf about Brazil, and one day I will make it there. There's a butterfly for transformation. A Bible. I used to be very much heavily into Christianity. There was a credit card there because I wanted good credit. I have good credit. After the short sale of my townhomes in 2011, the a few years later, I had to file bankruptcy. And so, yeah, I went through the doldrums with my credit, and now I'm happy to report that it is back on track, and I'm very much more responsible with it than I was before. But I realized in retrospect, I was trying to make so many decisions, trying to save a home that was losing value, and I was throwing everything I could at it, and it just, so that's neither here nor there. That's sad, because happier times happen where, guess what? I ended up several years later in 2017. So I short sold in 2011. I'm telling you guys all this because all this stuff manifested over several years, but it manifested. I short sold in 2011, and by 2017, I was able to qualify again for a first time home buyers program and got a super great interest rate and bought a home that was way bigger and much more suited for our family's needs. And I am so blessed, you know, so you can turn any situation around. I just took my sweet time. I was actually really scared to buy after that ordeal. So for me to even have been brave enough to buy this, you know, to work on this house was big. But I didn't even realize all this was in my vision board. I hadn't really looked at this in a while because I have a new one. But it's interesting. Wine and dine. I love to wine and dine. You guys like to wine and dine? I love to eat fine dine with my girlfriends, especially. It's one of my favorite things that we do is my girlfriends and I get together a few times a year, quite a few times a year, and go fine dining around greater Sacramento area, and we love it. And oh my goodness, guys, I have workshops here, manifesting and evolving. This is stuff that was near and dear to my heart. I had no idea how it would show up in my life later on. Mediation services. It says you have a charming way with words and you should write a book. The art of writing. I had some name ideas for some organizations that I one day will open, nonprofit organizations. I knew I wanted to go back to college to get my degree, and I did. And so I have that there. I have this view. It kind of reminds me of the Bay Area. And just, I love being there. I love visiting there now, but I don't want to live there anymore. But I love visiting, and I love bomb ass views when I visit. So, yeah. And let's see. Mediation services is important. The world's greatest arbitrator, because I'll tell you a little bit about that as I close this up. The job that I had was highly stressful, but one of the cool aspects of it was I got to, because I was an seasoned claims adjuster, and I was an arbitration panelist. Or I would hear cases involving accidents, car accidents, and I would make decisions, render decisions between insurance companies. We're at the big insurance companies and like large governmental agencies or certain entities will sign, they may have pre-agreements to have their cases heard. So I would volunteer once a month to hear cases. Now, normally most people in my position as an adjuster gave that up a long time ago because it was taking up too much of their time, and I can understand that, but I didn't give it up because it was one of the things I loved about my job. Apparently, I loved hearing arguments, and I loved being the person to render decisions that were binding, and they had to listen. And I knew case law and statute very well, and injuries and liability, that, you know, I have that kind of mind. So why give that up? So I kept at it, and finally in my company, like a year after I created that board, a position that rarely ever comes up came up in the arbitration unit. I had to apply twice, but it was a rare thing it would even come up. And I got into the arbitration department a year later. To this day, the human resources manager and my bosses remember how in my interview how impassioned I was about how much I love this aspect of my job, and I know I would be a great arbitration specialist for the company. And I even had on my vision board from a year ago. I've been preparing for it. Everybody else gave up on hearing cases, but I didn't for our behalf of our company. And I got the job, and I was super successful as an arbitration specialist. Did that for 5 years before I went off and did other things for the insurance company. So I say all of that because everything is possible. Anything is possible. Everything is possible. I could go on and on and on about all the different things I manifested over the years, but those are some of the big things. Some of the big things were recovering over my pulmonary embolism, the blood clots in my lung, my husband's freedom, which we'll talk more about later in the group. I don't want to take up any time extra from the vision board series, but the home purchase, the home selling of the short sale of the condo to the home I live in now, to the jobs that I have now. All of it came as a result of my setting intentions, writing out my goals, writing out how I want to feel when I manifest these things. And what? Looking at my vision board and consulting it very often. I don't consult this one because many of the things I'm trying to manifest are now found in this one. So I saw this style, right? This style. Not really working for me. So I was like, I need a book. I need a book that will encompass everything here. So I have this book, and it's a drawing pad, and it's 80-pound drawing pad, not 80-pound weight, but 80-pound sheet, because you need a good thick sheet to be able to withstand constant flipping of drawing pages, right? I'm thinking, I wish that I might have considered doing old photo albums. Sorry. Old photo albums. Because I think that might be a good idea, where you can just even take out stuff that you don't even want in there anymore. Oh, look, this is us way back in the day. This is so faded. This is from probably 2006. Super faded. When we reconnected. And so I wanted different pages. I'm just showing you guys different things and discussing with you about some of the things that I'm manifesting with it, because I want to inspire. Not because I'm like, oh, look what I did. No, because I can't believe it sometimes until I go back and I look at the notebook. I'll show you in a moment that I would write out some of my goals and intentions. I can't believe it. And you probably have had that same experience yourself of deliberate creation at work, and when you have something cool like a vision board to consult, and it also memorializes the dreams and aspirations you had from way back when. Like, I saw the things that were clearly important to me in my vision boards, and that's what I'm hoping will be for you. The objectives are, clarity in your dreams and goals, to actually create something that you'll want to look at all the time, to be intentional about your manifesting and your deliberate creation. That's what this is about. And doing visioning exercises, just sometimes what I would do is I would have my vision board or have my vision book, and just a few minutes a day, just sit with it, look at it, meditate, feel what it would feel like. Just sit with my eyes closed or open and just feel what it would feel like to actually have the things that I wish to manifest. And so over time, you start to raise your vibration up to that which you are trying to be aligned to. It's already created. It's already out here, just about to come into an alignment to where you're at. But you got to trust, and you've got to set up these things that help you on your journey. I mean, you still have to do the legwork, of course. I'm still doing legwork to make these things happen, to get the jobs that I do, you know, to gain the experience, to qualify for jobs, to start my little business, to buy a home. You still have a lot of legwork to do. It's not like, oh, it's just going to fall in your lap. But the universe definitely rewards your efforts tenfold. I will assure you of that. So also, let's talk about some tools now. You've seen what different mediums I've used for my vision board. And what I do, because I am that girl, I just video me turning through the pages slowly. And I keep the little video on my cell phone. And it takes up hardly any memory. And I look at the video and it inspires me. So you can take a picture of your vision board, or you can take a video if you want to do that. And you can look at it that way. You don't have to pull it out every day. It's very impactful though to pull it out and look at it at least once or twice a week. But every day is what I did to help get me on my way. I have my notebook with some loose paper that I added, and I just wrote out for each area of my life. It got its own page. So I divided like work, family, finances, health, well-being, relationships, my marriage, etc. And I filled up like from 1 to 26, however many lines is on a college rule paper. I'm trying to show you where they are. Okay, for example, like and I dated it too, so that way I know when I wrote this. And I just bullet point what I want for, like, for example, my tarot business. Quite a few things have manifested from here. And this is what I use as my tool to guide me for what images I want to find on the internet and in the magazines that I want to clip out and put in my vision board. So that's why this is important. You can just use a journal. Actually, I have another example of a journal. And just a little journal. You know, I like this. My sister gave it to me. You can also do a little bit of artwork there as well. Coloring, adult coloring. But you just write out something there and be able to, it's something fun to, easy to consult. Some other tools you'll need is scissors, glue sticks, tape, staplers. I use staple for some of my images. A stapler, I should say. You might want to use stencils, some of you. I don't have stencils, but I have markers just in case. Color pencils. Yeah. And again, I'm hoping that for your homework, and you'll get bonus points for this, come to the class with your intentions of what you want to have for your vision board written out already. So that way it's easy to identify the images, and even better if you already have some images clipped out where you're spending most of our workshop time just putting together your vision board, that's even better. But we will have a lot of time for putting together the vision boards, for talking about our intentions of what we want to manifest, and for looking for an accountability coach. I wanted to talk a little bit about accountability. So my accountability team was my kids. My kids had a very much a vested interest in my happiness, sadly, because I was so miserable. So they would ask me, have you pulled out your vision board? Have you looked at it? I would do that for them. My oldest lives by his vision board. His is tattered like mine. And he's moved. He's moved all the way across the country. My husband, he's into vision boards, but not like me and my kids. And my middle child, not as much either. It was like pulling teeth for him. But my oldest, oh, that was my accountability coach. My accountability partner. I won't call him coach. And so I invite you and encourage you to identify someone in your life that can be your accountability partner. You can pick an accountability partner in our group here. With me, with someone else. And it's not just, we're not going to be like hounding you, like what have you been doing? It's just someone that'll be able, you know, from time to time say, hey, have you checked out your vision board lately? What have you manifested from your vision board? Or you can just tell them, like, hey, guess what? I manifested this and I'm so excited about it. So definitely look for someone that will share in the joy. I'm hoping that we build relationships with this workshop with each other where we will want to share the joy. In fact, after this workshop is done, I'm going to create a separate post where we can post up pictures of our finished vision boards or vision boards that are works in progress. And we can talk about what we're intending to create in our life and what has manifested as a result of what's on the vision board. Of course, it won't be solely as a result of you doing a vision board. It's all of the creative stuff that we'll be doing. So I'm excited for this. I'm super excited about doing this vision board workshop. I think it's high time that I reconnect with my vision board activities, that you get to experience something like this if you haven't before. And if you are not, you're seasoned to the whole vision board experience, I hope you gain something as well. Even just to reconnect with setting intentions, creating your vision board and remembering to come back to it from time to time is probably a gift in and of itself. So I want to make sure I covered everything. Oh, there's one more thing I want to discuss before I let you guys go. I went over, make sure I got everything. Vision boards, what I manifested. And just a reminder, it's okay to bring work in progress boards. We discussed some tools that are important. And then last but not least, some optional reading. Now, there's plenty of stuff on the internet. Like I have so many hits when I was preparing for this workshop on my search engine. You don't need to get books. But I just happen to have these books in my collection from when I was on my quest to revamp my life and do an overhaul. So back in 2008, 2009, when I was like lost soul, I got some books to help me with my vision board quest. I got this one, The Vision Board, The Secret to an Extraordinary Life, Joyce Schwartz. And Jack Canfield says this book will change your life. And he's right. Actually, this was my favorite of all of the vision board books I have here. It was my favorite. And you know what's funny is one of the bookmarks in here is my, for my wedding invitation in 2012. Got my old address so I can show it here, but it was like an image of the front image of the invitation for my wedding, and then a escrow statement of my townhome is another bookmark, which is, it was cool to come back and look at that. But this is a really good book. This is The Vision Board, The Secret to an Extraordinary Life. It really goes into setting that intention. It has different images, color images of vision boards, but most importantly, it really talks about practicing your affirmations, creating vision and gratitude journals, keeping a journal of the future, live your vision virtually. I like that. Express your, so it's just a great tool that I used when I was really actively making my vision boards. Another one was Visioning, 10 Steps to Designing the Life of Your Dreams. This one is by Lucia Cappuccini. I am terrible with that name. Sorry. PhD. This one doesn't have color images, but still a really good book. It's older now, because I've had it a while. But it's just nice to read up on the art of vision boards and the intent behind it. It's not just slapping some photos onto a board and then hoping for the best. It's more than that. It's an intentional ritual that we're doing. And then I got this kit as well. I ended up not really using this kit, but I thought it was interesting because I wanted to tell you that there are kits out there, that the complete vision board kit, using the power of intention and visualization to achieve your dreams. John Assaraf wrote it. He was featured in The Secret, and it's a box. And he has a book, which I think I did. He also has this. Now we do downloads, but he has a CD in there. He actually had, I've never even used it, to be honest with you. I might even have to gift this because it's not used and people might benefit from it. I might, oh, this might be cool. I can find some things I can use. So he has this opportunity I want. I'll need that for fruits and veggies. Yeah, I'm going to be using this after all. I'll use it on our workshop day. And this is a board, which is not sufficient. I mean, you can have this, but look, this is not going to withhold anything. They shouldn't have even bothered. Honestly, he should have, I think that the kit would have benefited from just having some stickers, some cutouts like this, and a book. Leave the little extra paper alone. But they're kits, but you don't need a kit. You have everything that you need likely at home, especially if you have kids. And you have everything you need for under $10, really. And you can find images online. You can get access to a good printer. Maybe go to the library. So, I mean, you have different, and people have magazines they're always tossing out. So you have a lot of access to much inexpensive ways to create an awesome, fun, beautiful vision board that you'll want to look at for many moons to come. All right, guys, that's our introduction video. I know I packed a lot of information in it, but I wanted to do a proper kickoff for our vision board workshop. Yay! Let's get started.